Mo Salah, running down the wing. Salah, la 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 la, the Egyptian king. Welcome, folks, to Footy with Friends. I'm Brady Larkin, and today I got a packed episode for you. I'm going to dive deeper into the ongoing coaching carousel in the Premier League. And as harsh as it may seem for these big-time managers to get fired, they're living pretty comfortably, even when they're out of a job. So we'll touch on that and highlight another manager making some serious noise north of the border in Britain. In this week's main story, I highlight some really uplifting news in American soccer. It's news that is definitely flying below the radar of mainstream media, and that's probably because it's not super controversial and there's no fear-mongering involved. There are some serious financial moves being made in the National Women's Soccer League, and I'm stoked to share this news with you. And finally, stick around for a revamped Larkin-on-Liverpool segment. This week, it's live, so enjoy. It's great to check in on you, footy friends. Let's keep thriving, and let's get stuck in. All right, folks, how we doing? It's Saturday, January 30th, as I'm recording this pod. It's actually halftime of the Man United-Arsenal game, still 0-0. And it's really all, I have to look forward to today. It's kind of the calm before the storm that is tomorrow. Big game day on multiple fronts. Liverpool, Santos, U.S. men's national team. So we'll touch on that in a little bit. But today really got me thinking. This game right now, Man United, Arsenal, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer versus Mikel Arteta. It's kind of a showcase for the ongoing coaching carousel that is in full swing. Josh and I, on last week's episode, were talking about Frank Lampard days before he got the sack. And it's kind of crazy. And as sad and maybe shocking as it was for supporters of Chelsea and for Frank Lampard and just coaches of the game, honestly, it really proved the average for the league. The average tenure for a Premier League coach is under 2 years. It's about like 60-some games. It's even more than in Italy and Spain. I think in Italy, the average coach, his tenure is less than a year. It's like 35 games, and they get the can. So, yeah, the life of a coach, I guess you kind of got to be ready for it. It seemed like Lampard sensed it was coming. But you can't complain too much. These guys are getting paid millions of dollars. And when they get sacked, the club is still paying them to basically go on vacation until they're employed again. And it seems like these guys are always employed again. They just got to bide their time for, the next right opportunity. So, yeah, it sucks for Lampard, but now he can hang out and just kind of wait for the next job to open up, wherever that may be. And the ball's in his court. If he wants to take it, he'll take it. If not, he's still getting paid. So, yeah, the life of a coach is pretty crazy. I see this a lot, actually, in the college soccer game on a much, much lower scale. But, yeah, the coaching carousel at the end of each season, there's like that first wave of coaches. It always starts with one for those dominoes to fall. But, yeah, right after the season, so in January, there's a rush of openings and job opportunities, and then it'll kind of die down until the end of the academic year, and then boom, another rush of jobs open up. So, yeah, we always joke you got to have your resume ready because you never know when jobs are going to open up and opportunities present themselves. So it's kind of crazy to think about the implications that are involved with that on the huge worldwide scale of the Premier League and these top soccer leagues. These guys just bounce around. You got in the Premier League guys like Sam Allardyce who could be humiliated and kicked out of the England team, and then when a team is in trouble, they need security, they just go to Big Sam Allardyce, hire him for West Brom to save their season. So it's like guys like him, Roy Hodgson, David Moyes, Tony Pulis. These guys are in the game forever, and it's maybe does a disservice to the young coaches coming up. Guys like Lampard, Ole Gunnar, Mikel Arteta. I mean, there's fewer opportunities in England, maybe because there's so much at stake with the money that's involved. So, yeah, these former players are having to go to, like Vincent Kompany managing in Belgium, Gerrard managing in Scotland. So you might have to go abroad to get opportunities to kind of begin your way as a coach or start in the lower leagues. But yeah, fewer opportunities in the Premier League. But speaking of the one that's playing right now, Ole Gunnar, I really think he's the Steve Kerr of the Premier League. So, Steve Kerr played for the Chicago Bulls, with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. He wasn't the guy, but he was an important part of a championship-winning team. Same like Ole. He was on those great Man United teams, where he wasn't the guy, but he would come in and score some important goals. But really the spotlight was on guys like David Beckham and Roy Keane and the whole class of 92, like Scholes and Giggsy, So I think it served him well because he could kind of, be in the background, kind of learn the process from Sir Alex Ferguson and see what works with motivating some of his teammates. So I think that's kind of the same thing Steve Kerr did when he was on the Bulls, later when he was playing for the Spurs, and he's taken that right into being a coach with the Golden State Warriors, winning multiple championships. Ole hasn't done the same with Man United yet, but all signs point towards an upward trajectory of them, making some impact and challenging for some silverware this year. Yeah, they're right up at the top of the league, and they're making some runs in some cups this year too. So, I think he's in a great spot, and it's probably because he wasn't, the world-class all-star player like the case of Frank Lampard. I think it's almost a burden when you are this super successful player, and when you make that transition into coaching, whoever's in charge, the owner is going to expect some results right away. But the reality is, I'm sure we all know, great players don't necessarily make great coaches. So it's when you don't deliver on those expectations right away, the wrong owner might fire you. So you can even look at these betting odds of the next likely manager to be sacked. I mean, they're doing all these crazy things in England, betting on absolutely anything you can, including the race to the sack. My money was actually on Mikel Arteta if I was a betting man, because he wasn't delivering those results for Arsenal, but I think he might be in a similar situation as Solskjaer, where, he wasn't the man. He wasn't the best player on Arsenal. I mean, they had Henry and Van Persie and Pires. So I think they're going to be a little more patient with Arteta as he can slowly trust the process, build a team culture, and get back to, where Arsenal was when he was a player. That's exactly what Man United did with Solskjaer. They gave him some time. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here. Hopefully the second half turns into a better game. But two managers that are kind of starting out and making their way. So, yeah, I hope they both turn things around for themselves, for both of their team, and have long careers as coaches at the highest level. someone near and dear to my heart who's, I think, on his way to the highest level is Steven Gerrard. So he's in the Frank Lampard side of things, where he was a world-class player and the leader and the man for Liverpool. So when he tried to be a coach, credit to him, he didn't want to manage in the Premier League, really, unless it was for Liverpool. And he was self-aware enough to say, I'm not at that level yet. I need to get experience. I need to get reps of being a coach. So he went right from being a youth team coach to, turning down some offers to manage in the Championship or League One even, and went to Scotland and took the Rangers job. So the way I would compare this move, if you're not familiar with the Scottish Premiership, it's kind of like in the NFL. If Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, a year or so after retiring, right, Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, decide to be a coach. They're going to try out coaching. But instead of taking a job in the NFL, where the expectations are going to be through the roof, they go get a job in the Canadian Football League, where it's kind of like no one really knows, is that a good league? Like, how many teams are there? So no, I don't think anyone's really sure. Like, are they televised? Why is there a 55-yard line on the field? Why is the end zone twice as long? It's strange. It's a completely different game. Sort of the same situation goes on in Scotland. So he's honing his craft there, and he's been doing so since, I think, 2018. But holy cow, if it's not getting enough publicity, it should be. He is having one of the seasons of his life. To give you the lay of the land, in the Scottish Premiership, there's 12 teams, and there's really only two that matter. It's the two in Glasgow. So there's Celtic FC and Rangers FC, the two big dogs that win the championship every year. They kind of trade it back and forth. At least this was the case until like a decade ago. Celtic went on a run. They've won the league 9 years in a row. So it was very much a mission for Gerrard and Rangers to get back to the top. Can you win again? And by all means, stop Celtic from winning 10 in a row. So that's the kind of the lay of the land. And to go even deeper, Rangers last won the league in 2010, 2011, so a decade ago. And then the club got liquidated. They just couldn't, their financials were completely out of order. So they straight up got bounced to the third division in Scotland. They had to sell all their top earning players to survive, and kind of work their way up from there. So they had to start young, play some kids from the academy, and kind of really start from scratch. And that was in 2011. They made it back to the top league, and sure enough, here we are in 2020, 2021, and Gerrard has the team playing at a European Champions League quality level. So they're 26 games into the season. Rangers have scored 66 goals. They've only conceded 6 in the entire season so far. They're undefeated in the league and in the Europa League. They topped their group. They have a 23-point lead on Celtic. Folks, start building the statue, right? You can start already. Celtic is not coming back. They're not going to make up this gap. They're losing 2-1 today to St. Mirren. Who are they? They have no business beating Celtic. Clearly, Celtic has gotten complacent. I mean, it's straight up unacceptable from their level. And Gerrard, holy cow, is he learning how to be a coach, kind of trial by fire the first year or so. But there's clips of him and interviews of him saying he's regularly in contact with Jurgen Klopp and the Liverpool staff to bounce ideas off of. And it was pretty cool as he got his start. He was getting some Liverpool guys on loan. So he a healthy pipeline there to help set his feet, establish a good culture, and clearly it's paid off. I don't know what at least how they've been training recently, but when he took over, he was a couple years out of playing. He retired from the LA Galaxy, and he would step into training like frequently when things weren't going well, and would just show the team up. It's like no, we're working on switching the point of attack, and he'd jump in and ping one like 60 yards to the opposite winger. Like, this is what I'm looking for. Boom. So he set the tone. He's always a lead by example guy, and sure enough, he's still doing it as a coach, which is pretty cool. But let's get to work on this statue. Gerrard needs to be immortalized in the Rangers folklore there. But they're really exciting. And yeah, maybe they can make a deep run in the Europa League. They topped their group and, again, undefeated. And they were playing Benfica. So they're not all scrubs in the Europa League. So another thing that I don't think got nearly enough press recently has been Naomi Osaka. And you might recognize her name because she's a world-class tennis player, but she's making some impact in the soccer world recently. So Osaka, I had to triple check. She's 23 years old. She's the highest earning female athlete, at least of the last year. She's a 3-time Grand Slam winning champion. She's coming off of a really cool 2020 where, she won the U.S. Open, and she was really outspoken and in support of the Black Lives Matter movement because she herself is mixed. She's Japanese, Haitian, and she's been living in the U.S. since she was like a baby. So she's got a really cool perspective on culture, and she is a world-class athlete. And just this past week, she became an owner in the North Carolina Courage of the National Women's Soccer League here in the States. I can't remember the last time a current athlete invested into another sport. You just don't see that enough, or at all. And for a girl that's 23 years old to be thinking about making this kind of impact is pretty incredible. And in her own words, I really believe is worth, giving some shine to. This is her on her investment in the Courage. The women who have invested in me growing up made me who I am today, and I can't think of where my life would be without them. My investment in the North Carolina Courage is far beyond just being a team owner. It's an investment in amazing women who are role models and leaders in their fields and in the inspirations to all young female athletes. I also admire everything the Courage does for diversity and equality in the community, which I greatly look forward to supporting and driving forward. So holy cow, Naomi Osaka making some impact in the NWSL and really paying it forward to fellow female athletes. And the Courage is one of the biggest clubs in the United States. So they had this massive youth soccer program, boys and girls, and on both sides they have a complete hierarchy. So it goes from the grassroots level of rec soccer all the way up to the top club teams, the academy teams on boys and girls, and professional level. So you could theoretically be involved from the team from 5 years old to 25 and you're a professional athlete. So that's kind of the dream of a lot of clubs in the States, because that's sort of the European model. And the Courage have been winning and producing results with this setup. They're 2-time league champs, and they're one of the best teams. The Courage is one of the best teams in world soccer. They're 2-time league champs, and They won the International Champions Cup. So they were playing teams from Europe like Lyon and beating them. So yeah, this is big time for NWSL, for women's soccer at large, to have this awesome endorsement from a top female athlete. It's just so encouraging, and it's getting me pumped up to follow the NWSL more this year. And speaking of, I was going on looking at, okay, when are these games coming back, so I can start following. And I guess they're on a little bit of a break. They're coming back in, I want to say March. They're starting with a Challenge Cup. So end of March, early April is the Challenge Cup, which is really a kickoff tournament. And it's something they first implemented in 2020. So during the pandemic, the NWSL paved the way for a lot of sports in America. So they had a tournament in a bubble in Utah, which sort of was the template for the MLS and Major League Baseball. And this was before the NBA bubble in Florida. The NWSL was really showing how to do it in a safe way, and have these events. And it was a successful event. There's some really high quality soccer. The Houston Dash actually won it all, so they went on a run of form and were kind of upsetting people along the way. So good for the Dash to kind of mix it up and knock off some of the top dogs like the Courage and Chicago Sky. So that'll be happening again in April, and then they'll get into the regular season. So they probably play each other a couple times each. There's really only 9 or 10 teams. And again, the Courage is going to be a team to look out for, not just because of Naomi Osaka throwing down some money, but yeah, there's some really successful teams like the Dash, like the Washington Spirit. There's a new team coming in Los Angeles. Was it like Angel City? They're getting like crazy investments from Natalie Portman and all these actors and actresses. So they're getting some big names behind that team. But I don't know. I think that it's more of a dream to be successful from the get-go because they're in LA and they're going to try to attract all these top players. But it's the teams that have been working at establishing a good team culture and producing results for a couple years already. Those are the teams that are going to continue to deliver. So watch out for the NC Courage in this upcoming NWSL season. Like I said at the top, this is a big weekend, triple header day tomorrow. So we got Liverpool versus West Ham at 11:30, USA versus Trinidad at 7, and Santos Club America at 8. So again, this is the calm before the storm. I'm enjoying my Saturday. I mean, I love a good weekend of games, getting my routine of waking up, shovel the driveway, come back inside, get cozy. We got bottomless black tea all day to keep me energized. And yeah, I'm just going to kick back and watch a little bit today, but certainly dive into those games tomorrow. It's going to be interesting for the U.S. national team playing Trinidad. I think it's a friendly. I don't know where they're playing. I assume it's in Florida because Florida is just oblivious to the pandemic right now. So they're just saying, hey, if you want to come play sporting events, come here. So I assume it's in Florida. But this would be good to see the national team. We haven't seen the men's side play in quite a bit. I assume they're going to be without, their big dogs like McKinney and Pulisic and Gio Reyna. So all those guys are in Europe still. So it's a really good opportunity, I'm sure, to see some of the young guys that are playing in maybe the MLS or fresh out of college. So it's kind of an interesting time for the men's side. We got to start to put some results together to, qualify for some of these big time tournaments like the World Cup. We just can't miss out on the World Cup again. We've kind of rebounded, like Josh and I talked about, from missing out to, having that be an opportunity for young guys to come through. And now we just got to deliver. So yeah, not that the game tomorrow means much. It'll just kind of be a good gauge of, okay, where are we at as a nation with the men's soccer scene? I think a young guy that I'll look out for is Aaron Long. So he's a center back. He plays for the New York Red Bulls, and he's actually been linked to Liverpool. I've talked about it God knows how many times, our Liverpool's center back injury dilemma. Everyone's injured, and the question is, are they gonna sign somebody? And they got a couple days to figure that out. The winter transfer window ends February 1st. So are they going to sign somebody? Aaron Long has been linked. I don't think it'll happen. He's a good player. He's athletic. He's good with the ball at his feet. But that's not what Liverpool does. We don't panic buy for 6-month lease of a player. That's not our style. We're much more long-term focused. So no, it'll be cool to see him if he plays and hype him up as we go. But no, you're not gonna play for Liverpool. Stick to Red Bulls and maybe get your move to Europe in a year or so. But yeah, maybe Liverpool down the line. Now on to the game of the week: West Ham versus Liverpool. I'm going to take you through the high points of the game, my live reactions, and commentary as we go. If you haven't seen the game or you don't want spoilers, I don't know what to tell you, other than you missed a good one. And you missed a game with my current goal of the season. This was out of control. So stick around and enjoy the new and improved Larkin-on-Liverpool. All right, first half here, folks. West Ham versus Liverpool. Strong lineups, I would say, from both teams. It's unchanged from West Ham's last game against Crystal Palace. They're a team in form, kind of surprisingly this year. I mean, they were in the top 4 at some point last week until Liverpool beat Spurs, but they've won their last 5 games, so there's certainly a team in form, and it's tough to come to the London Stadium here. And Liverpool forced to make a couple changes. Mane has a muscle injury, so he's out, didn't even travel. And Firmino gets a rest on the bench. And, yep, you guessed it, Origi starting today. So hopefully he proves me wrong. I would have started Taki. I'm in the free Taki camp. But let's see. We got kickoff here. Off we go. I mean, immediately playing long balls, and this is trouble. I expect, after this first 5 minutes and it finally settles down, for West Ham to sit a bit deeper and play on the counter. It looks like Mikel Antonio is up top on his own, and he's good enough to do that on his own. He's been like the Achilles heel against Liverpool recently. I feel like he's always good for a header. Every game we play West Ham, he just pops up at the back post. Like, if there's one dude you need to mark in the box, it's Antonio. So, got to be aware of him today. And, yeah, we just got to play fast, especially if West Ham sits a bit deeper. Move the ball quick and maybe a shot from distance or so. But we will see. So, Hendo's still at the center back alongside Nat Phillips today. And I like the midfield 3. Gini, Millie, and Thiago. And Shaqiri's popping up in there. He's kind of has a free role, I guess. So get that Thiago, Shaqiri, Bayern connection going. It's worked well recently. Folks, have you heard about the Taki Minamino conspiracy theory? Not that I am fully on board, but I think it's worth noting. So Minamino has started 2 games this year, and they were the 2 early games in England time. So The 12:30 kickoff, everybody hates it because it's the early game of the day. But those games are actually the primetime games in the Asian markets. So the conspiracy is Taki only plays, for opportunities when the Asian markets are tuning in. Other than that, he's come on as a sub for like 6 or 7 games. Again, I don't know if I'm fully on board with that, if it's a marketing ploy for Minamino, but there has been other reports that come out that say, you know what, he's just not impressive enough in training to earn his time. And even that's hard to believe. He does so well when he comes on. You can only do so much in the 5 minutes you play. He's got 1 goal and honestly should have more, because the moments when he's in the game, there's been 3 or 4 that if the final pass was just a bit better from Mo Salah or Firmino, he could have 4 or 5 goals and it would be a completely different conversation. So I would have started Taki today instead of Origi. Origi's playing on the left. Please prove me wrong. Yep, and sure enough, here's West Ham without possession, 5 across the back, 4 in the midfield, and 1 runner up top. I mean, they're all deep in their own half. So how do we break this down? So this is Divock Origi's 7th game today. He's got a grand total of 0 goals, 0 assists. Come on, buddy. He's only 25 years old? He runs around like he's 35, but yeah, he's still young. And for what people say is the prime soccer age of 27, 28 years old, he hasn't even hit that yet. I don't think his prime is going to be in a red shirt of Liverpool, but wow, Gini Wijnaldum, how good is he? They say he's unpressable. You can't press him and get the ball off him. He's too strong and he's too good in tight spaces. Always gets out. Okay, well done. We're moving the ball quick. So Gini Wijnaldum, let's talk about him. 30 years old. He's been going through this prolonged contract negotiation. I think he wants a multiple-year contract, and the club just isn't going to budge. I mean, 30 years old is a little, like I said, it's past the prime soccer age, and he's certainly still good enough to compete at the highest level. But that's just not what Liverpool looks for. It's not what Klopp looks for. He looks for the Mo Salahs, the up-and-coming guys who are 25, 26, who are going to have their best years at the club rather than, kind of waning off. But, my God, we're going to miss him if he doesn't sign on. I mean, first 10 minutes, absolutely bossing possession here. Anyways, I would say Wijnaldum, criminally underrated. I mean, he's been playing out of position with Liverpool the entire time he's been at the club. He came in as an attacking midfielder from Newcastle, and he still plays there for the Dutch national team, where he's scoring goals every game. But he plays a bit deeper for Liverpool, kind of sacrifices for the team, and just uses his fitness and his technique to kind of keep the ball moving, get our tempo going at a high level. There's Antonio popping up in the box. Freaking mark him up. Scariest guy on the team. Yeah, Shaqiri, absolute free roll today. Now he's in the number 10 position. Just floating. Watch out for him. He's going to make an impact here. So far, Wijnaldum's been the deepest midfielder, kind of controlling things. And Thiago's been alongside Millie a little higher. So first 22 minutes, Liverpool's had the ball the entire time. We just got to be careful not to have Nat Phillips be the last man back. He's not fast enough to catch anyone. So you got to keep at least 2 back and create more shots with all the possession we have. Test the keeper. Shaqiri, he's buzzing today. I love it. Picking up the second ball off of Salah, and he's there for a shot in the box. Love that combo. Shaqiri, easily the biggest calves on the field right now. He strikes the piss out of the ball. Kind of crazy. Alexander-Arnold only has 3 assists on the year. He's averaging 12, 13 a season. It's now or never, buddy. Let's pick it up. He is coming off a game with a goal and an assist against Spurs. So let's back it up. Let's make it 2 in a row. Man, Liverpool's got to step up their half-court offense. At least find a plan B. They keep trying to work it around, work it through with shorter passes, but every now and then you got to take a three-pointer. At least get the defense to respect your shot. Maybe they step out, opens up more space in behind. Or you take a 3 from range and crash the goal, crash the hoop for the rebound. You never know. All right. Defensive corner here for Liverpool. This and the counterattack. How else is West Ham going to score? The Alisson Becker with the sure hands, the holy goalie. Did you know Alisson Becker has been baptizing his teammates for the past couple years? And I like his style. He goes to full dunk in the pool. Not just a little water on the head, but he really is. He's ordained. I guess he's a priest, or somehow he's got the power to baptize his buddies. He dunked Coutinho before he left. I know he's dunked Bobby Firmino. Just converting people. I love it. The holy goalie's got 5 clean sheets, so not bad so far. It's not his standard, but he'll get there. Aaron Cresswell. Aaron Cresswell. That was a foul on you, bro. You got lucky. Also, is Nat Phillips the center back for the rest of the season? What's the deal here? Like I said, Liverpool's got less than 24 hours to decide if they're going to make a purchase and sign a new center back before the winter transfer window closes. I don't think they will. Again, there's been the rumor mill's going crazy. There's been some links to Aaron Long from the States, even a center back here on West Ham who's on the bench, Diop. He's been linked. I just don't see Liverpool splashing the cash for a 6-month loan. They know Van Dijk and Gomez are coming back. I mean, those are our guys for the future. So not likely. I think we're going to stick with youth. Nat Phillips and Reece Williams are going to have to duke it out for minutes, and experience goes to Nat Phillips. I mean, he's played first-team games this year for Liverpool, and he played in Germany last year in the Bundesliga. So he's got experience. This is his 5th game today, 23 years old. I think this is your time, buddy. You get thrown in there, I believe he's going to rise to the challenge. And by all means, he has the best coaching staff in the world that's backing him. They have a track record of getting the most out of the young guys. So I believe in Nat Phillips, at least for this year. I think he's going to grow a lot. He's going to make mistakes. I think we have to accept that. But he's going to learn from it, and he's going to improve every game. Here he is, 1v1 with Antonio. Just move your feet. Just move your feet. Good. Hey, all you got to do, contain him. Is that a no-looker from Thiago? Firmino must be showing him something in training. If Mo Salah can master the Aryan Robin cut inside and either a lefty rip or a lefty curler, if he can be consistent with that, that's his bread and butter. Really, his biggest weapon is his speed. But against a team that's sitting comfortably in a low block, you're not going to get to use that speed too much. Halftime. There goes Klopp running down the tunnel. Very cool with Klopp. What he does is he sprints away so he can get in the locker room as soon as possible, and they have some film queued up. So first thing he does is he reviews all the relevant clips and boils it down to maybe 3 that he's going to show the team. And he's always positive and solution-oriented, so might show a few situations that if it happens again, this is what we're going to do. So less focused on what we did poorly or should have done. So I love it. Let's focus on the solutions. I think a big solution I would be saying if I'm Klopp, let's take some more shots. I think this game is perfect for a guy like Oxlade-Chamberlain to come off the bench in the second half. I mean, anytime he plays, he's got the green light to shoot from distance. Right foot, left foot, he can create his own shot. He can get the boys playing a bit faster in the midfield. I don't know who, maybe he comes on for Milner eventually. It's probably a game for Bobby Firmino as well. So I could see him coming on for Origi this second half, maybe linking up play a little bit better than Origi. And same thing, he can create his own shot. He probably has a little better movement, timing of his runs in the box than Origi has so far. Again, 0-0 halftime. This, again, plays into West Ham's favor. So, it's strange to see a team sitting in 5th place, playing at home, and just parking the bus. But they're playing for results. They don't care how it looks to the fans. There's no fans there, so who cares? 0-0 first half. I'll check in on you with the second half. But first, I'm going to refill the tea, have a little oatmeal. See you in a bit. All right, second half. The bubbles are coming out for West Ham. Do we ever play well wearing our black kits? I can't remember us playing well. Let's hope we change that in the second half. Here we go. Love it from Captain Hendo. Driving forward, drawing a foul. 35, 40 yards out. That puts Declan Rice in the book, so he's on a yellow card. The quicker we can keep moving the ball in the midfield, that puts Rice in trouble. But Declan Rice, he was one of my players to watch today. He's almost too good for West Ham. I think as a team, they're overperforming so far, at least overachieving so far. Again, they're in 5th place. The live standings, they're a point behind Liverpool. I think he's got maybe a year left here on West Ham, and he'll move to a bigger club. He was a youth Chelsea player, so he played alongside Mason Mount and some of those boys at Chelsea, probably Billy Gilmore too. Pretty controversial though. So Declan Rice, he was playing for Ireland from like a teenager through the U21s. He had 3 caps with the full Irish national team and then switched allegiances. So now he's playing for England. Somehow those 3 caps didn't count. So he wasn't locked in. So he kind of shunned Ireland. And, as a guy with Irish heritage, I always try to follow them. And yeah, that kind of hurt us. To have a starting Premier League center mid captain on your national team, that's big time. And yeah, now he's content with trying to work his way into the England team. Way more competitive. But all right, that's his decision. He was respectful about it, but still got a bunch of hate, which you kind of expect. So Declan Rice, I think this is last year on West Ham and then move into a perennial Big Four team. Okay. So Curtis Jones getting the nod here from the bench. All right, so attacking midfielder. I love it, though. Kojo. He's 20 years old. Local Liverpool lad. I think he's going to break into the England team soon. He's gotten a few caps with the under-21s, but he's been getting consistent minutes for one of the top teams in the league. I'm sure Gareth Southgate is watching this. He's good for a banger every few games. Yeah, Origi, your ankle might be hurt, but your confidence is definitely hurt. Oh, Millie coming off. Good shift.
Under Arnold, Jones again to Salah on his left foot.
Let's go, Mo.
Salah! Oh,
cut inside lefty. Boom!
Mohamed Salah ends his
Yes!
6 Premier League games without a
Yes, there he
And
is.
Curtis Jones, just off the bench,
Wow.
has made an immediate impact.
Did the Arjen Robben like we talked about. Millie's talking to Klopp, said, oh, shoot, you wanted me to do that? Yeah, Curtis Jones just set him up. 1-0, 57 minutes. Game on. Salah, 14th goal this season, leading the league. And people said he's a one-year wonder, or he's having an off year. That's 14 goals, and he's got 3 assists in the league. He's the club's all-time leading scorer in the Champions League too. He didn't pop that graphic up. The Egyptian King, everybody, running down the wing. Salah, la 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 la, the Egyptian King. Mo Salah, Mo Salah. Love the proactive sub. We're just hitting 60 minutes. Made a sub, got a goal. Momentum's with Liverpool. You got to go for 2. Right? Keep your foot on the gas. Can you kill the game off in the next 10 minutes? Right? Good first 15. How's the next 10 to 15? West Ham with the sub here. What are they going to do? David Moyes. He's tinkering. It's got to be an offensive sub. You know, this is where David Moyes thrives. In general, being the underdog, he does a lot better. I mean, if you look at the scope of the season, West Ham certainly overachieving. But he did the same thing consistently with Everton. He was also at Sunderland, so he hasn't been with the big boys, with the exception of when he was the manager at Manchester United. A pretty ridiculous task to take over after Sir Alex Ferguson, and he was just out of his element. He does a lot better when he's the underdog and he's punching above his weight and just really going for it. And this is a case in point here with West Ham, and now they're a goal down. How does he respond? And Moyes, people don't forget the 1 year you had at Real Sociedad and just fell flat on his face in Spain. Yeah, we remember. All right, they earn another corner. Yep, they're coming out, certainly. Can we weather the storm and counter? So Liverpool, again, mix of man and zone. So 5 guys in zone, 4 matching up. I think 1 must be free at the top. Yeah, Mo. So he'll run as soon as Alisson gets the ball. Maybe even before. Another corner. We got to start clearing these balls up the field. Defend and counter. Part 2.
Into the near post.
Here's defend. Here we go. Trent, big one.
Thumps the ball crossfield.
Connect. Yep. We got a 4v3. To Mo. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Yes, sir. Oh. Filthy counter from Trent to Shaqiri to Mo. 3 passes. Wow. It was Trent with a 60-yard pass. Shaq with a 50-yard pass. Wow. And Mo Salah bringing out the first touch. Bounce touch, dink. Oh, get in there. Wow. There you go. What a response. 10 minutes after the first goal, they score their second. Folks, if this isn't Taki Minamino time, I don't know when is. What a finish. Right foot, then left with the dink. Yeah, Klopp he's euphoric right now. And Shaq, okay. Immediately gets subbed off. Good game by Shaqiri. Holy cow. What an assist there for like an exclamation point on the day. Good stuff. Made it his impact. Now you get your rest. Rally for the next game. All right, 2-0. Does West Ham go even more attacking and leave themselves open at the back? Probably. Just got to continue to make it count. So that's 15 for Mo on the season, 2 on the day. So he's on his hat trick. You can't take him off. Nice. Live standings. Liverpool gets bumped up into 3rd place. So just behind both Manchester teams and above Leicester City. That's positive. West Ham still in 5th. Can we get a third? I think if we weather the storm here for another 5 minutes, maybe Mo gets another goal. But let's keep pushing for 3. Right? You're the defending champs. Let's kill this off. All right, last 15 minutes. Still that one sub in the pocket for Klopp. Ox. All right. Last roll of the dice here for Klopp. Oxlade-Chamberlain coming off. I would even put Mo Salah at the point. Move Bobby to the right. I mean, who cares? He'll D up and just hit long balls into Mo Salah.
Comes up and tries to solve it, whatever it is.
Good combo, top of the box.
Firmino gets the return. Roberto Firmino, square ball, 3-0.
Love that. Firmino's involved. Got the assist. Love this. Gini Wijnaldum. Easy finish. I mean, he's covered every blade of grass on the field today. So, good job, Gini. Chipping in with the goal. All smiles. Gini and Bobby, first team, all smiles. Absolute beautiful dentures. Oh, love the celebration, too. Probably for his kids. Do 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 do. Gini Wijnaldum. Do 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 do. Gini Wijnaldum. Good stuff. 3-0. Killing off the game. Wow. This is 2 wins. Back-to-back games in a row in London. That's the sign of champions.
Dawson and O'Connor in and around the penalty spot. Swinging again. Dawson's there, 3-1.
Oh, fellas.
During the week.
Man. Let in a goal from a corner kick. Again, like, where else is West Ham going to create chances? It looks like it came off of Craig Dawson. I don't know. It could have been a deflection, maybe an own goal. Tell me the ball didn't bounce in the box. It did. Oxlade-Chamberlain got put on skates here. He's ball watching. Lost his man, and the zone is nowhere to be found. So he pops up right in front of Hendo. Yeah, Klopp's not going to be happy about that. Nor will Allison. That's a bummer. All right, 3-1. Couple minutes to go. And there's the final whistle. Game. 3-1. Good win. Way to double down on that win the other day against Tottenham. Make it 2 in a row. To keep it going. Brighton's up next for the Reds. West Ham, again, punching above their weight a little bit this year. Really conservative from them today. That was not surprising, but kind of disappointing. But they have Villa up next, so that should be a much more even game. They might come out of their shell a little bit more. But good performance from Liverpool. They just never gave West Ham a chance. Clearly the halftime talk worked from Klopp, coming out scoring 3 goals. Let's just shore up at the back. I'm sure they'll be looking at that goal they conceded on tape and fixing that before Wednesday. Time to dish out a few superlatives of the match, starting with golden goal. So got to give it up to Mo Salah's second goal of the day. I mean, you're going to be seeing this goal on Twitter, on Instagram for a few weeks. The counterattack was lethal. The passing was so accurate and precise. And Mo's control in the box, once with his right foot, the second with his left to lift it over Fabianski. I mean, that was so calm and composed. And I mean, the celebration, pretty lame. I think he just was all business today. Less smiley than he is usually, and kind of embraced his teammates. But great goal. Give the goal 9 out of 10. Absolutely out of control. If it was a first-time finish, I would have given it a 10. That would have just been otherworldly. But the celebration, not doing much for me, Mo. Come on. Let's step it up. But golden goal for Mo Salah. 15 goals to lead the Premier League. He's on fire again. We got the best style of the day. There's a few contenders, but Big Xherdan Shaqiri gets it for me. With his style of play, he had a few tricky back heels in the midfield and, a few dummies to let the ball go with a little bit of deception. And he was linking up really well with Thiago today. So Big Shaq is my best style. Not only for that, but, rain coming down in London. His gel is kind of running down his face, and he's pulling off the middle part a lot better than you would ever expect someone to. So he's got that curly middle part. So good stuff from the Swiss international. Good to see him getting some game time and using those minutes and impressing Klopp. That was very evident when he got subbed off and he's getting big bear hugs. So good job, Shaq. And long may it continue. And finally, man of the match, it's no surprise. Mohamed Salah, 2 goals. He was dangerous, always on the counter. He was kind of playing off the last shoulder of the 2 center backs, so Dawson and Ogbonna, and just causing them havoc. And if he can continue to master this cut inside and curl to the back post, I mean, that's filth. Yeah, and stone cold celebration. So there you go, Mo. Man of the match. And let's double down and get it going again on Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. The best place to keep up with me is on Twitter at @Footy_friends, especially for the midweek action in between episodes. Until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep thriving.